Christoph, welcome to myprintresource.com.
Thank you.
Graph Expo. Doing well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Enjoying the show so far?
We're enjoying the show. We had a lot of traffic yesterday.
Yes.
It's really good. Very pleased with that.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about the U.S. Postal Service and some of the marketing problems that face direct mail. What are you looking at right now from your business viewpoint?
For direct mail.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, first of all, most of the business that we do has to do with transactional mail more. However, there's this convergence around trans-promo and putting more advertising content on transactional statements, and in general, more personalized direct mail as we see it. And that is very interesting for us. You know? That is an area where I believe really we can see a shift and therefore some growth in that segment where personalized direct mail gets more prevalent in the market. It is certainly more effective than just general bulk direct mail. And I think marketing or advertising spenders will redirect their money, and that will create a big opportunity, or create an opportunity for us as well as our customers.
There appears to be quite a bit of chatter on the show floor amongst mailing and fulfillment people about envelopes. What exactly is happening in the envelope field that's become so important?
Well, it's not actually in the envelope, it's outside, it's on the envelope.
Yes.
It has to do with printing on the outside of the envelope. And there are lots of studies that show that if you have a message on the outside of the envelope that is relevant to the customer, relates to the content, and preferably is in color, then the open rates of those envelopes get much better. And that can have a real impact on the response rates. So typically if there's a response rate on a direct mail piece of 1 to 2%, if you can make that 2.5%, you're the hero. Absolutely. So this outside blob of color on the outside of the envelope can be really, really important there.
Graph Expo, of course, looks at most of the industry in the United States from a global perspective, which I know that you've been involved with. What do you think the future is for printing and mailing?
I love to think about this in the larger context of communication as such. You know? I know that there are discussions around the world about mail volumes declining and so on. And that might even be the fact. You know? But communication is not going away. Instead, it's getting more complex and more important for companies to get that right. How do I communicate with my customers really through whatever channel they want? In some cases, the customers will choose a physical mail piece and say that is actually the best piece, the best channel, the best media that I want to have. In others, it might be smartphones, iPads, whatever. And the challenge for us, as well as the industry as a whole, I think, is to adapt to that changing customer requirement. And say, well, what is it really that how do the customers want to receive all of that communication to the best effect? The next topic here is multi-channel, really. It is, if we do the same thing, when we go out to acquire new customers, we might send them the mail piece first and then follow up with a call and then direct them to an internet website where they can enter some data and so on.
Exactly.
Based on that data, we send them another mail piece and then we follow up again. And then at some point we have them as far as we want them, so they sign an order. Yeah? In getting that right, that mix of channels to different, or the mix of messages to different channels, that I think is the trick here. And I think print and mail has a huge role to play there. Because at the end of the day, a physical mail piece is something that you don't substitute with electronics. Really.
So you're looking at it from a confluence sort of a situation.
Absolutely.
Where
Absolutely.
the printer is not only just a printer, but becomes the communications avenue.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Within a mix of other avenues that also exist. You know? From a Pitney perspective, we are migrating upstream in a way also. Yeah? So we're playing more in that software arena before the printer, where people make that determination of which channel does this specific message, this mail piece, go through. Does it really go through the printer, or do we direct it to a volley when that comes live, and so on, you know, to send to the customers that way. You know? So I'm in the communication market, I'm very optimistic. Yes, there's some pressure on mail, but mail has to find its space within that new world. Sure. That's normal.
Christoph, very interesting discussion. Appreciate your stopping by, taking the time.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy Graph Expo 2012.
Will do.
Thank you.